Hello, Rowan Mithril here once again, getting back to Silent Hill 3, starting our third run-through. Go take a look at the options real quick here. So the life display is not on this menu. You actually have to turn it on from within the game, so we'll get to that momentarily. Though we can turn bullet adjust up to 3 now. From what I understand, it maxes out at times 5, and again, much like getting both the beam saber and the other special weapon, the Flamethrower, you can pretty much cheese this one by just reloading the same saved game and killing off the god 5 times, and boom, you'll have it maximized. So with that, let's start Extra New Game. Note with action level we have Extreme 1. Yeah, not touching that, and I'll explain why momentarily. We're gonna stick with Hard, and we'll also do Hard Riddle level. So the reason I don't want to play with Extreme level 1 or beyond is that it halves your stamina bar and makes attacks just do ludicrous damage. Put it this way, that's what I attempted the first time I started recording this third run, and a closer killed me like ridiculously fast while I was trying to demonstrate the Flamethrower. Put it this way, I'll explain what the extreme difficulties do. Once you complete one extreme difficulty, you unlock the next level of it, and it goes all the way to extreme difficulty X, which is 10 levels of it. And no, I'm not going anywhere near that. Hey, we have swirlies around our head. We'll cover what that means momentarily. First things first, let's turn on the life bar. Life display on. And thus we have our life and stamina bars. The yellow bar is our life bar. The green bar, our stamina bar. I'm not sure why it never fills all the way to the top. I thought maybe that was just an effect of playing on extreme difficulty, but one thing I do notice is both bars are a lot longer than they were there. There's also a purple bar that will show up if you get knocked down. That shows you how much longer it's going to take before you can actually stand back up. Notice as we walk or run, the green bar depletes. However, just standing still lets it refill. Let's see here. Go ahead and get our trusty friend. So now as to what those swirlies around our head meant. Notice that we do not have a weapon currently equipped. As it said in the unlock thing from the last results screen, that means we've got the Heather Beam equipped. Holding down the attack button launches these homing lasers, whereas just tapping the attack button launches these little projectiles. And every time she fires, she also says in a strange little voice, "Heather Beam," though it starts sounding like she's saying, "Hey puppy," which just makes me think of playing Worms, since Pink uses a sound bank based on Felicia from Marvel vs. Capcom 3. It's funny because some of the sounds don't quite translate well as to what they're used for, such as the worm self-destructing and saying, "Come here, puppy." So I'm going to be actually recording the first part of this all in one go again, as I did with the second run, because there is a good bit of stuff I can show just in one conveniently packed area here. Skipping cutscenes. Going ahead and getting the handgun bullets just to prove the point that, yes, it was worth 30 because of bullet adjust. Who wants a handgun when we have Heather Beams? Strange that the little red swirlies don't appear all the time. Maybe they only appear if you're next to a save point or something. I suppose we'll test that theory eventually. But for now, the main point is finding somebody to demonstrate the Heather Beam on. And we have a nice volunteer right in here. The wonderful thing about the Heather Beam is it can actually go around corners. But of course, with such power, there is a bit of a drawback. Note that as you keep using it, it does deplete your stamina. Unfortunately, the Heather Beam is fueled by your stamina. So if we just keep using it, once you're out of stamina, there goes your power. She can't use it again until you let her power her stamina back up. Now there is a bit of a way to get some stamina back quickly. That being if you have an ampule. Using an ampule will pretty much max out your stamina meter from what I understand. So before we bother going in the storeroom, let's go ahead and nip into the bakery real quick. We need the tongs anyway. But there's something else in here for us. The Flamethrower. Unlocking the Flamethrower also makes a silly little change to the flyer for the bakery. Crispy toasted dead right to your very door. So, this LP is actually the first time I've ever had the Flamethrower. This thing will roast the bad guys, and I don't have to worry about fuel either. It sounds promising. Can I get a volunteer? The problem is, it has no knockback. And fairly limited range, even. So it looks impressive, certainly. But it's no unlimited submachine gun, I'm afraid. But yeah, it at least looks impressive. Okay, back to the storeroom. As much as I'm enjoying the new weapon of the Heather Beam, well, actually, I do still want to test my theory as to whether the red swirlies only appear when you're next to a save point. And we're about to be near one. May as well pick up this again while I'm here. No, they're not appearing here either. That's weird. So much for that theory. Anyway, let's go ahead and get our key. And I'm going to go ahead and equip that again. May as well use that to charge back up from the closers. The stopping power of the SMG just makes it work so much better, really. The reason I don't want to use the Heather Beam too much is that actually is what controls getting the third ending. And the basic point of this run is just to show the hard mode puzzles. Getting the third ending basically cuts the game in half, so I wouldn't be able to show them all if I did that. So it's time for the hard mode book puzzle. And quite a hard mode it is this time, too. This time, it pays to know what the different anthologies actually are. Anthology 1, Romeo and Juliet. I'm not much for sentimental slop like that, apparently. Shakespeare Anthology 2. King Lear is in this one. I've never read that. Anthology 3. One line from Macbeth that I just can't forget. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player, that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. Shakespeare Anthology 4. Hamlet is in this one. I've never read that. And Anthology 5. Othello is in this one. I must have read it, but I forgot what happens. So we have Romeo and Juliet, King Lear, Hamlet, Macbeth, then Hamlet, and Othello. Hope you have working knowledge of Shakespeare. I know Pink would just love this puzzle. She loves Shakespeare's work so much.
Shakespeare!
Right, anyway. In here is a tragedy. Art thou player or audience? Be as it may, the end doth remain. All go on only toward death. This is basically just telling us a bit of an opening for the puzzle, and that all 5 stories are tragedies. The first words at thy left hand. This is telling us that in these next verses it's going to tell us the order of the books, but that they go from left to right. That's what they're really getting at there. A false lunacy, a madly dancing man, hearing unhearable words, drawn to a beloved's grave, and there mayhap true madness at last. False lunacy is a major theme of Hamlet, the prince who, to get revenge, pretends to be crazy. So the first book is Hamlet, Anthology number 4. As did this one, playing at death, find true death at the last. Killing a nameless lover, she pierced a heart rent by sorrow. This is referring to Romeo and Juliet. Juliet pretended to be dead by drinking a concoction that gave her a false appearance of death. However, at the end, when Romeo actually killed himself out of sorrow, she killed herself to join him in death. The line about a nameless lover is referring to the speech of what's in a name. So the second anthology is number 1, Romeo and Juliet. Doth lie invite truth? Doth verity but wear the mask of falsehood? Ah, thou pitiful, thou miserable ones. This one doesn't give us a whole lot to go on. However, lies versus truth is a major central theme of... sorry, I have to go through my notes here a little bit. It's a major central theme of Macbeth, Anthology number 3. Yeah, I had to take notes on this puzzle. I'm not that great of a Shakespeare fan either. Still amidst lies, thou the end cometh not. Wherefore yearn for death? Wilt thou attend to thy beloved? Truths and lies, life and death. A game of turning white to black and black to white. Thank gods for that last line. I have never read Othello, so I have no idea what goes on in that one. However, Othello is also the name of a board game in which all the pieces are discs, white on one side, black on the other. As you move the pieces around, you change any pieces near the one you just moved to your color, and you have to end with more of your color on the board than your opponent. So, next up we have Othello, Anthology 5. Now, process of elimination, we know what the last one is, but anyway, Is not a silence brimming with love more precious than flattery? A peaceful slumber preferred to a throne besmirched with blood? This one speaks of King Lear, who had 3 daughters. One of them was truly kind, but let her actions speak more than her words. So she was quiet, but her love was true. The other 2 were greedy. They constantly flattered their father, the king, but all they were really after was his throne, which they fought over with much bloodshed. So the final anthology is number 2, King Lear. So now with these books in order, what we have is 4, 1, 3, 5, 2. We have a problem here. There's 5 digits, but only 4 to go in the code. Thankfully there's more to the riddle. One vengeful man spilled blood for 2. 2 youths shed tears for 3. 3 witches disappeared thusly, and only the 4 keys remain. This is telling us we have a little bit more to do. One vengeful man spilled blood for 2. This is referring, once more, to Hamlet. He spilled blood for 2, meaning we need to take the number of that anthology, 4, and double it. So thus the first number becomes 8. 2 youths shed tears for 3. This refers to Romeo and Juliet, which is the second number. Shed tears for 3 means we triple it, so the 1 thus becomes 3. So now we have 8, 3, 3, 5, 2. 3 witches disappeared thusly. This is referring to Macbeth, the start of which has the 3 witches that send Macbeth toward his destiny. The 3 witches disappearing means we get rid of that one. It's out of the code. Thus we have 8352. Ah, but verily, in here is a tragedy. Art thou player or audience? There is nothing which cannot become a puppet of fate, or an onlooker peering into the cage. Just a closing to the riddle, that. The thing is, we don't even actually have to place the books. So if we want, we can just carry the Shakespeare books with us the rest of the game, I guess. And thus it's unlocked. So yeah, just a taste of things to come, that. And with that, I really don't have anything else to demonstrate on this run all the way to Brookhaven Hospital, so, yeah, see you quite a bit later.